All right.
Oh.
Well, welcome back. This is potentially part two of Conjuring 2.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty long, the first part, so if you guys listen to it, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you. And if you liked it, I don't believe you. Like this one, to prove me wrong. Again, my name is Carlos,
I'm Lety.
I'm Albert.
and we are going to continue our
Conjuring 2. Yeah.
podcast of Conjuring 2 right here. Um, sorry.
Before we continue our journey, ladies and gentlemen, we had the spook meter at a 9.5. At a
9.5.
9.5, and we're halfway through the fucking movie.
And before even starting the movie back up, we are now at 10.5.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just got some fucking chilling information from Lety right here.
So fucking spooky. Lety, please let us in on your story.
Let the viewers know that there's some shit going down.
Okay, so I was getting my second dose of COVID vaccine, right? And the guy's asking me questions and I'm answering. Yes, no, blah, blah, blah. And then he leans over to the nurse and he goes, "She checks out." And I'm just sitting there
Jesus
looking at
Christ.
them like, what the fuck does that
The
mean?
full spook. That's what it means.
I'm just here, sitting here, listening to you say that, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? That's so fucking scary.
What do you mean I check out?
It means we add one to our spook meter, guys. That's exactly what it fucking
I
means.
want to make
It's a
it
real life spook.
clear to the audience. We're not trying to sponsor vaccine hesitance, but come on, like,
What is happening?
You're giving out vaccines. You're not just gonna whisper to your colleague, "Yeah, she's good." What the fuck? Like,
Bitch can
she's
handle
gonna
this
go
one.
jab that.
Jab
Oh
that
my
bitch.
god. Oh my god. That is so spooky. I'm so sorry this happened to you, Lety.
I don't know if this person was joking, but if you were, I'm officially spooked.
You added one to our meter, guy. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna say he wasn't joking. It was just that fucking spooky.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 vaccines now, and
And we have 10.5 spooks.
yes.
10.5 spooks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back into it. Where we stayed off was at the train station, where we're getting Ed and Lorraine Warren actually show up to England, and they're just going to observe. They're not gonna participate. Apparently, they're not gonna
Yeah,
do
they
anything.
already promised.
They already promised to each other, whatever. With their beautiful fucking chemistry. Oh my god, I love them, guys. I
And
can't
right
stop.
here, they're being greeted into the country by Maurice Gross, saying, "Thank you for coming over here. We believe you're going to be staying at the Hodges' house." Yeah, it's always better to be in the mix, Ed says. And now they put the luggage into the boot of the car. That's the trunk for you Americans.
By the way, it's December because there's Christmas trees and Christmas decorations in the train station.
Yeah, it's still gloomy as fuck, but with a little bit of a Christmas spirit.
You can see across the street there's already some what were those things called? The rings?
What are you talking about?
Reeves.
Reef.
Oh,
Christmas
Oh
wreaths.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah, there's Christmas wreaths.
Yeah, yeah,
hanging
yeah,
on
yeah.
the
Is it
doors.
with
Come
those
on.
rings,
Mhm.
like the fucking
Yeah.
Sonic rings, or what, dude?
Yeah, dude, Sonic fucking rings. Fucking golden Sonic rings.
Yeah. They start the introductions. I'm Lord Warring. I am Peggy 1, and I'm Peggy 2, and I'm the husband. So I'll see you later. And they just leave Peggy there with Mr. whatever the fuck his name was.
Maurice.
Maurice?
Maurice.
Maurice Gross.
And it's like, this is where the children sleep, and we don't use the room anymore. They have the room locked.
Yeah, and apparently Peggy and Janet are the only ones staying in their
In the
house.
house,
The
eh?
kids are staying with Peggy, the neighbor.
And we have Ed asking questions here. It's like, hey, is this the room where we got the pictures? And Maurice interrupts. She was about to respond, but
Well, I just want to point out that the door is chained up to the radiator right next to the door. Completely spooky. That by itself is already kind of scary. I'm giving it a quarter spook.
nice,
Just
nice.
chained up door. Spook.
And okay, so yeah, like I was saying here, Ed is asking questions to Peggy here, and Maurice is just interrupting. It's just, oh, this happened in here. This is happening over there. It's like, wait, I actually want to hear her story. Thank you. Like, let her fucking talk.
Yeah.
Ed walks into the room, and the room is completely, I mean, there's shit on the ground and everything, but it's completely covered in crosses.
Yeah, the walls.
Yeah,
The
the
walls.
walls.
But the floor is completely trashed with wardrobe and broken bed stuff. It's trashed.
Yeah. Ed looks at Peggy and Maurice, and he just gives a little heavy sigh.
Yeah, they mentioned that the crosses are donated from other people in town, and they hang them up because they don't see the harm it could do. If anything, it could help.
Yeah,
Right?
if anything could do any good. So
Now we cut to Lorraine coming to the backyard to the swing set that they have there, and we see little Janet swinging on the swing set, kicking a little soccer ball, completely unnecessary.
I feel like that should have been cut.
Yeah, the soccer ball. Oh, I'm sorry, football.
Football.
We got our second cut in the cut meter, ladies and gentlemen.
And Lorraine's just trying to talk to Janet, just try to feel something from her, right?
Yeah, I'm sure she's trying to just feel out if she's truthful or not, obviously, because I mean that's what they were sent for.
Yeah.
So she starts asking a couple things, and how do you feel? How does everything make you feel?
Janet doesn't say anything.
Yeah, she kind of just like shrugs, kind of like, And then Lorraine starts to tell her the story of the first time she saw something, which was an angel. To be exact, Lorraine says that she was visiting her mother at the hospital and she saw an angel. How it was standing next to a little boy's bed. It was gently touching his cheek and then it stopped. And it looked right at me. Of course, my mom and the nurses didn't believe me, but I knew what it was real.
And she's doing this just so that she can show that she doesn't think she's crazy. She thinks that there is something here potentially, and trying to explain that she experiences things.
That's true.
And she mentions how she knows what it's like to lose friends, but that one person can change everything. And then this is where Janet gets like interested, and she kind of looks at her and she goes, "How do you know you can trust them and open up?" And Lorraine says, "I didn't. I got hurt.
Sometimes I got hurt."
And it took a long time, but I finally found someone who believed me." And she goes, "And you know what I did? I married him."
The suspense.
And they just look at each other and smile.
Well, Lorraine's smiling. It looks like Janet's still tired. Well, she even says, "I'm so tired."
I'm just so tired. I can't sleep here. My mother forces me to stay here. She ties me up to the bed.
No, she doesn't. I used to go to the medical room in school and they would let me sleep because I was so worn out. But I can't even do that anymore. Everyone's afraid of me, and you can see the tears in her eyes now. And Lorraine makes sure to point out that whatever is doing this to you is doing this
because she wants you to feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wants you to feel this way.
And, but why?
Because that's what makes it stronger.
And we cut back into the house. The camera's panning over the chair. And Peggy and Maurice are just talking about that this is the chair where the guy died. And, where'd they get the chair? They make sure to point out that the ex-husband just bought the house with all the furniture still in it. And for relevance, I guess, the husband's no longer in the picture. Peggy makes sure to let Eddie know that he had twins with someone across the street. Yeah, a few blocks down. And that he took all the music with him when he went. And Eddie takes that as a sort of like, oh, well, he took all the magic out of the house or something.
Yeah.
So it took the happiness with him. It's like, oh, it can feel like this sometimes. And she's like, no, he took all the records.
Like, literally.
Like, this son of a bitch took away all my dressers. He left me the record player, but he took all the vinyls.
He took all the music.
Bitch.
And they make sure to bring up Elvis, and it's like, okay, well, that sucks. Back to outside.
Lorraine mentions like, do you know when it's gonna speak, or does it feel like it's coming from inside of you, and then Janet just like shakes her head and she says, no, more like it's coming from behind me, like I'm being used.
Does it ever say things just to you?
That only you can hear? And you see Janet like get uncomfortable, and she kind of just like, mm-hmm.
Well, she kind of changed her posture, and it's like,
Yeah.
what does it say? It says it wants to hurt you.
When did it say that?
I'm looking at Lorraine now. Right now. They kind of have a moment just looking at each other on the swings. The camera's getting a faraway shot of them.
Does anyone else just want to like make out with Lorraine? Honestly.
She's a very beautiful woman.
She's beautiful, dude.
Seeing cuts, I guess, later in the day now, where they're setting up an experiment or an interview with Janet, having her sit in the chair where the guy died, and the mom makes sure to point out, like, oh, I don't like her sitting there. It's like, oh, well, it might be easier for Ed to contact her if she's sitting there. And Peggy reluctantly agrees, and you'll be all right to the girl. They give her a glass of water. They make sure to point out that if she keeps the water in her mouth...
Yeah, the reason why Ed wants to run this experiment is to make sure that they're not using some type of ventriloquism. Ventriloquism, thank you. So that he doesn't get that effect. So he wants to make sure that she puts some water in her mouth and just holds it in there and go ahead and starts talking. That way he could get some proof, obviously, that this is not a hoax, as everyone in the media is trying to put out.
He turns on the recording. He makes sure to notify the date. And she takes a swig of the water, keeps it in her mouth, and they start asking questions. Nothing. Janet ends up spitting the water out. And it says it won't talk with you all looking at me. It's not been shy up to this point, Maurice. And you think it'll speak if we turn around? Maybe.
Then Ed just was like, okay, let's try it. And he turns around, everyone just follows. The mom just fucking tired, dude. She looks just frustrated, like, ugh. Okay.
Well, she knows that her daughter's in danger. I wouldn't want to turn my back on my daughter right there.
Yeah.
Especially when they're trying to channel this thing from her. Oh my god, this is spooky. I think this is irresponsible, personally.
So what do you think, Bill?
You have your privacy, now come out and speak.
I like the camera angle that we get here. We only see Ed. And to his left, we see the girl, but she's completely unfocused.
Yeah.
You can't make out what she's doing. You can't make out that she still has the water in her mouth.
You just see her hands on
at the edge of the couch, on the armrest.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that word.
And her face is kind of blurred out at the moment, and then we get some rumbling. Then lights kind of go out, and Ed is completely just sitting there, just observing.
Can you do Ed and I'll do the Bill? I love doing Bill. The lights kind of flicker, and you get a growling from Janet. Here I come.
Ed acknowledging. I'm talking to the spirit that's oppressing this family.
Is that what I am? Is that what I'm doing?
Yes, and I come to put a stop to it. Do you know who I am?
Eddie. Edward.
Ed looks frustrated, man. It's like, Ed is fine. Ed is fine.
Your father called you Edward.
Not true. It's not true. My father called me Ed just like everyone else does. Come on, Bill. You're not a psychiatrist. I'm not here to talk about my father. Let's get down to business. What do you say? Why don't you just leave these people alone?
Because this is my house. At
this point, I middle of the street. My house.
At this point, I want to point out that if you're focusing on the out of focus Janet in the back, she's no longer there. It has become an old man sitting in that chair.
Yeah, it looks the distorted figure that we used to see of Janet. It looks a little bit taller, and it even looks like it's kind of bald.
It's become the old man.
Yeah, it's the old man, honestly.
And you can see it's clearly speaking. Like he's moving forward with each word, just threatening.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Spook up. A spook up.
Ooh, nice. We're getting a spook?
Yeah, we're at 11.75 now.
I like that. All right, let's get back to the scene.
It's not your house.
Ed, it's not your house.
Yes, it is. I come here to see my family, but they're not here now.
That's because you're dead. If your family did live here, they're long gone now.
Where are they?
I don't know. If I did, maybe I could help you.
I don't need your help.
Then why don't you just move on?
I don't believe in that.
Why not? What would be so wrong with you going to heaven?
I am not a heaven man.
Well, I got news for you, Bill. You see, I don't care what you believe is. You see this? He pulls the cross from us, shows it towards Bill.
Help it let go.
While he's still holding the
Help.
cross towards Bill.
It let go.
At this point, the old man is gone, and it has changed back to Janet.
And the light has returned to the room.
Mm-hmm.
Ed turns around, still holding the cross pointed towards Janet. He looks at Janet. She still has the water in her mouth.
She
Janet
spits it
grabs the cup. She spits it out. Everyone else turns. She already has the water in the cup. The only one that saw that the experiment was, quote unquote, a success was Ed.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks.
Pretty
looks kinda
shaken.
yeah, he looks pretty shaken up
Yeah,
by
he's
the
affected
experience.
by that. It was very powerful messaging.
Mm-hmm. Talking about scenes that could be cut, I think this is one of them.
Actually, yeah. This scene right here, it's Ed and Lorraine actually sleeping in the little boy's room, like where the brothers were sharing the room.
And they kind of feed the skeptic argument for this.
Yeah.
Or they mention like, oh, we don't know if it's hallucinations. We don't know what's going on here. And Lorraine's like, oh, well, yeah, and I don't feel anything right now. I feel their fear.
That's
And-
it.
and
And
that's
Ed
it.
starts talking about like you said, hallucinations and possible schizophrenia or something like that, and he
Split
mentioned
personality.
split personalities. There you go.
And they get a little horny right here. It's like, oh, I've never, I don't know if I can sleep this far away from you because they're sleeping in opposite beds at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And Lorraine's like, well, I'll give you something to look forward to when we get home.
Damn you, dirty, dirty dog.
Ew.
You leave that in.
So the scene cuts to Janet and her mom in the mother's room, and Janet is doing the same thing she's done so far, and she's tying herself to the bed with a jump rope, and the mom's like, I hate when you do that, and she's like, it helps me sleep. And then Janet's already in the bed, and she brings up how in
Well,
the beginning,
I just want to point out that she's tucked in, and the mom even gives her a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I didn't smoke.
yeah, she talks about the beginning of the movie, how she wasn't the one smoking, it was Camila at school, and then she was just holding it like to make her look cool, but she wasn't gonna take a puff. And then the mom looks at her, oh love, I'm sorry I didn't believe you, like after all of these things had to happen.
I'm
for
sorry
her
it
to
took a
believe
full
her.
possession of some 72-year-old man for me to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe she didn't take that puff.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's not acting out.
We
And-
get the middle of the night now.
Yeah, cuts to the night. House is
everything's
completely
dark.
dark. Beautiful weather outside. Gotta say,
Honestly, you look nice, dude. Just a little windy. No big
clear
deal.
skies at night.
Yeah.
We see a couple of rooms in the house. Everything seems quiet.
You have Janet kind of like moving around, and then she opens her eyes,
And we hear whistling.
and she starts to And then the camera pans out, and she's downstairs on the ceiling.
Yeah.
This flip right here for the camera, that was great
Yeah.
fucking work. It's terrifying.
She's
I feel for her
screaming,
right here.
And it actually flips to, and it gives us the angle where where the camera is actually where Bill is sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting, rocking in his chair.
Yeah, she looks down towards the chair, and Bill's actually on the chair, and he's rocking back and forth,
She gasps.
and he's actually whistling. That's the whistling that we heard throughout when they were showing the house at night.
Yeah.
You heard whistling, and it shows that it was Bill.
She's panicking. Bill gets up, and he's slowly walking towards the stairs, and then he
Walks up.
starts going up the stairs, and it's the same footsteps that they've been hearing throughout we've been hearing throughout the whole movie. Janet is panicking, and she's kind of like following the footsteps with her eyes, or like
Yeah, with
where
her.
he would be upstairs.
Yeah, at this point, she's hearing him above her.
Yeah, and then she like puts
Try-
her hands forward.
Like, she's trying to get up.
Yeah, kind of. And then it turns out he's already where she would be in the mom's room, and he pulls her by the
He
rope
pulls her through
The floor-
through the ceiling
into
the floor.
into where her room is.
Yeah, that currently locked room with all the crosses around
Yeah.
the walls.
Chained up door, crosses all over the room. I remember when I was watching this with you guys. Oh, the only reason the crosses are all over the wall is to be flipped later in the movie.
And
then
here we go.
And then there you go.
Right here, Janet's just kind of freaking out. She's gasping, looking at the crosses. And
Her
they start
eyes are teary.
flipping. And I just feel for all the interns that are crossing the set right here, flipping all the crosses really quick to make them look really cool in this sequence.
She's following the crosses like wall by wall, and then it gets to a corner, and it's all dark, and you have Bill reach out.
Yeah, he
Towards
charges
her.
towards her. He charges towards her.
The mom wakes up, runs to the room, and you have her struggling to open the door, obviously because it's chained up, and she's just pulling on it instead of going to get the key.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm pretty sure I can open this.
Yeah. And then you have Janet kind of peeking through the door, and she's like, Mom, help, he's in here with me. And then you see hands pull Janet into the room, and then you have Bill groan and then go back into the room.
And that's the first time the mother sees Bill.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And now at this point, the Warrens are up, and they come to the room, and they're trying to open the door, but they can't either. It's like, please go get the key.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And Lorraine is kind of peeking to see Janet, and then she doesn't see anything. She just sees like the curtains are kind of wrapped around Janet, and she's like, Janet, hold on, we're coming. They get inside the room, and then Janet was being choked by the curtains.
Yes, strangled by it or air cut off
Mm-hmm.
by the cover, which I think would be weird. It's probably more the strangling, right?
Yeah.
Because you could breathe through a cover. But whatever. The mom's holding the little girl at this point. Everyone's terrified. And the Warrens don't know what to think.
Yeah, because they see nothing. They see no one else in the room.
They
They
saw
see
nothing.
the crosses were normal, not upside down. Lorraine does kind of get like a glimpse. Again, it's something that if you would have looked just a second earlier, you would have actually seen it move fully. But she looks at the wall, and one cross is like barely swinging, like it was
Yeah.
just dropped down.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're kind of looking at each other because Peggy was like, he was in here. There was a man in here. I saw him. But they're kind of like, should we believe her? Should
Yeah.
we not? What? I don't know what to say.
I'm giving this 2 spooks.
Two spooks, dude.
One for the kid being pulled through the fucking ceiling and fucking hanging off upside down with Bill in the fucking rocking chair.
Mm-hmm.
And another one for her being in the room with all the crosses and being attacked by
We're what, 13 spooks now?
13.75.
Okay.
The spook meter's going wild, people. It's going wild as fuck.
Sorry. And now we're in full-blown Christmas mood. We see a lot of more Christmas decorations. We see snow for the first time.
Yeah, by
Oh
this
my
point,
God.
I'm sure the Doctor Who Christmas special is already out.
They're talking to the photographer and the engineer,
Maurice?
Maurice
Maurice
in a
and-
pub. That's
These
a
are
bar.
these are
by the way.
these are the investigators that have been with them in England since apparently day one.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that have been
Anita's
getting.
also there, the skeptic, by the
Oh
way.
yeah. They're all there. They're the ones that have been keeping up with the story. They're the ones that have been gathering all the evidence that's in the media. These people are getting a lot of attention
Mm-hmm.
from the media, which is making a lot of people doubt. Like, oh, like it's these people again. You know, and they're
Yeah.
talking about the same fucking case. Two of them are believers.
Yeah, the other woman is not. They're looking at pictures of the bite marks. They're talking about how the dental records kind of match.
And how the story of the guy, of Bill dying from a hemorrhage in the chair is true. And then you have the skeptic saying, which is all public information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like she
Janet
could have heard this from a neighbor or something.
Janet could have looked it up apparently, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how they could have looked it up. There's no internet back then, guys. There's
And
no internet.
they bring up that the girl was levitating. They had mentioned it in passing before, but now we get to see pictures of that.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently no one was in the room with her, but they had pictures set up, and they mentioned like, oh well, her knees are bent in the way that her body is postured. She could just be jumping.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the picture, it looks weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a regular jump. I would not jump like that. My God,
Yeah.
hurt myself.
What I like is that this movie is actually reenacting actual evidence. Because later on in the credits, they actually show, like they did in the first one, they show the actual family, and they throw in the actual evidence.
Yeah, the
and
pictures
they compare
and
the
the
picture. Yeah, they
voices.
compare the picture of the movie compared to the real life picture, and it looks pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty similar. Obviously, I'm sure they tried a shit ton of times, but I mean, it's great. The evidence that they're giving is real evidence.
They mentioned the voice, and the skeptic is like, oh well, it was all in front of the cameras. I mean, this is all a show, right?
Which I'm sorry, but I don't know, the voice, that's fucking scary. A little girl sounding like a grown ass man. Damn.
Well, they think that it's not coming from her. They
Yeah.
claim that it's something else. But
Yeah.
even this lady is like, oh well, she could still be doing the voice. She could have just spit out the water while you guys weren't looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously finding, I guess, a rational explanation for everything that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely holes in this.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's holes. I mean, nothing manifests completely, right?
Right.
So if you look for reasons not to believe something, you're gonna find reasons not to believe it. I feel like that's with anything,
Yeah.
right? Like all sorts of accusations that are made against people. And I think this is the problem with. I'm going to legal argument now.
Right.
That fucking problem with our criminal justice system is that you got enough money to pay for a good lawyer, they're gonna find a way to BS you into being innocent.
Yeah.
It's just the way things are, and in this case, they're finding a way to BS it into her not being possessed. And clearly, there's enough information to support this girl's argument.
Yeah, and sadly, all the evidence that they have and they have provided is iffy.
It's circumstantial at best.
Right.
Like, there's no way to know for sure what's going on yet. They don't have any video evidence. The recordings that they have are just completely, like I said, circumstantial. There's no way to know for sure
Yeah.
until you fucking see it for yourself, right?
Yeah. So at this point, we see Maurice looking at Anita, the skeptic, and he's just like. And then Anita mentions how last year she was actually conned by some family.
The fucking Welsh.
Yeah, and I don't know what demons are worse. Who is worse? The demons that prey on people to believe, or the people tricking them into believing that they're actually possessed. And Lorraine immediately is like, the demons.
Yeah. The demons are worse.
No question, the demons are worse.
And then Anita just goes, well, yeah, but like, oh my God, just stop, Anita, stop.
Yeah, and she mentions like, oh well, now she's got all this media attention, and she applied for better housing. Oh my God!
Yeah.
How dare this woman apply for better housing?
Yeah, how dare this bitch that her fucking basement is completely flooded
Yeah.
ask for a better house? Really?
With
No, you
4
live
fucking
there.
kids.
You live there, and you take the fucking water out.
I'm giving this a quarter spook. Just
Quarter
for-
spook, dude. This is a financial spook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck this lady.
I'm financially scared right now for this whole family.
Before we got back into it,
Okay.
you guys know I started using the fingerprint function on the
And
thing.
then,
Dude,
I hate it.
you hate
why?
it?
Because my phone's fucking like vibrating out of nowhere sometimes. I'm just fucking holding it, but it's because I'm fucking touching
Oh, you're
the thing.
dun, dun, dun,
And it's
dun,
like,
dun,
oh,
dun,
that's
dun.
not right. That's not your fingerprint.
My other phone used to have it here, and I was so used to just like unlocking it like that, but now it has it here, and it's annoying for me because I would just like slide it out and go like that, and I can't do that. I have to like hold it like this and then unlock it. I don't know.
First world problems right here.
Yeah.
First world problems. You leave this in.
I can't unlock my phone from the back like I used to, and I have to.
Dude, I love that.
I have to hold my phone a different way so I can unlock it from the front.
If I could have that phone back, I would. But our parents changed companies. So.
That's true.
You have Lety's old phone. Let us know in the comments down below.
And it was purple and it was pretty. So then the scene cuts and you have Ed and Lorraine arriving to the house with the kids, and they took them out to buy some presents because, Christmas.
Yeah. They said that they want to spend time with the family because they haven't been a family in a while.
And they bought them an Elvis record.
Oh, yeah.
While Ed is trying to play it, Lorraine is talking to the kids, and she mentions if anyone has been bullied before.
And Billy's like, oh yeah, they bullied me for my stuttering problem that I'm not going to replicate. On purpose, at least.
And they're like, so then what happens? And he mentions like, oh, they stick up for me.
Yeah.
So then she was like, okay, well, this is like
This is the same thing with the entity in this house.
He's bullying.
He's bullying your sister Janet, and all of you need to stick up for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Ed wasn't able to play the record, but he sees a guitar.
Oh yeah, he bought a record, Elvis record for the family.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't play it. Their shitty ass record.
Apparently, a bunch of shit, like the mother just mentioned, a bunch of shit around the house has been breaking recently. So
Yeah.
But there's a perfectly fine and in tune guitar in the corner of the house right there.
yeah, dude.
And he's just like, you know what? I'll fucking be Elvis right fucking now.
Yeah. So he starts singing.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's not that song, but yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Nah, I don't know what song they're singing. I don't
It's
know enough Elvis.
take my hand, take my whole life to... Damn, if Dr. Dre was listening, shit, I get fucking signed right now. A full 7-year record deal.
Not sponsored by Dr. Dre, but
would like to be.
Would love to be.
Shit.
This is the whole little heartwarming little scene right
Yeah.
here. They sing together.
Yeah.
And we
Cool
get a
stuff.
family moment.
You
dude.
have Lorraine just looking into him, smiling.
Yeah,
And
we
then you
get-
have people coming in with cameras, right?
Well,
They're
the scene
setting up.
cuts. The scene
Yeah.
cuts. At this point, Peggy greets the investigators. Oh no, yeah, they're still singing. My
Mhm.
bad. Everyone now, they're all singing together. Peggy's the one letting in the people with cameras to set up some equipment, right?
Yeah.
Cameras, listening devices, the whole shebang.
Yeah. So Anita's setting the cameras outside, right?
They're setting up cameras at the house because right now they're at Peggy Ann's house or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
so-
they're not at Peggy Ann's house. Look at that TV.
Yes, they are, dude.
This is their house.
Yeah, it's their house. That's why the record player wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad.
So
Guys,
they're at the
ignore what I
house.
said.
I'm taking out for spook for that. No,
I
mean-
I'm kidding.
Anyways, they're setting up cameras while they're still singing.
Yeah. Then we get a little montage of everyone setting up cameras, all cool and shit, and then we get this little
scene.
comic relief.
Yeah, we get a little scene with Eddie picking up a giant camera onto his shoulder. It's like, wow, it's so light.
Like, you're fucking kidding me.
Scene cuts, and now, being the handyman that he is, Ed Warren is fixing the sink, the kitchen sink.
And now you're gonna hear the other side of the story Lorraine said earlier. And he starts talking about how, how you're a kid and you're usually scared of something being under the bed. Well, he says, like, my bed actually had something under it. And
He grabbed him.
and he left the room screaming, and then the dad got him and put him back in the room, but he was so scared but he had to face it, right? So he got the little cross necklace that he has, and he hold it up and he said, whatever is under that bed better leave, or God is gonna kick its butt. And then you have Janet just like chuckle a little, and then he says like, oh, that's the best thing my dad ever did for me. Of course, he only did it because he didn't believe me. It took me years to finally find someone that did. And you know what I did? And Janet says, you married her. And then he just gets out of the scene and he's like, oh, so you've heard this story before.
And see, you can see the camaraderie that they've already built. You can see that Jenny's smiling.
Yeah.
It might be the first time she's smiling with the Warrens.
In a while,
Mhm.
also, dude.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to see Ed and Lorraine, a movie of Ed and Lorraine growing up and finding each other?
I think you want to see a video of Ed and Lorraine fucking, dude.
I mean, where's the OnlyFans? Where do I sign up?
Oh my god.
Where's the only spooks?
Dude, only spooks meter.
Anyways, Peggy comes into the room. Warren says the kitchen sink is fixed. I think I'm gonna go do the washing machine now. Oh, fucking handyman over here.
Yeah. Listen, we got Bob the Builder over here, dude.
So scene cuts and Lorraine is outside with Maurice, and Maurice is kind of, I guess, not being sensitive, and he's like, oh, it's gonna be historic, like this is amazing, and we're gonna get a bunch of evidence. And then Lorraine just looks at him like, and she says, is that why you're doing this?
You want to be a part of
Because-
history?
You want to be a part of history? This isn't a laboratory, this is someone's house, and I think helping that family is the only thing that matters. And Maurice is like, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. My daughter died in a car crash several years ago. Afterwards, I started to experience things. I think she wanted to communicate with me. And yes, it would help if I knew if she was, I don't know, somewhere.
I really like the scene.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it brings this character a little bit more. What's the word? Because the first time that we see him, we really do see him the way we have
The-
this picture right now.
yeah.
Just excited. Oh, this is happening. This is happening. I know because I've been here this whole time. I've seen this. I've seen that. Okay.
Yeah,
But
Lor-
after he gets questioned by Lorraine, he gets, I don't want to say put in his place because that's not the word. But he confides in her.
Yeah, because like Lorraine thought, like he was just an academic, that he
Yeah.
was just in it for either the notoriety or just to be the person to be able to prove that there is spirits
Yeah.
or whatever.
Mm.
And I think she was perfectly justified to believe that, especially
Yeah.
with the way that he seemed so excited.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, he completely confides in her, lets her know like, hey, no, yeah, I'm doing this because I do want to prove that there is this, but it's not for the fame, because it is to know that my daughter is there somewhere.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like to bring comfort to himself.
Which is
Right.
which is fucking great. It brings a little bit warmth to this character. He's not just doing it just because. He's doing it because his daughter died and he went through this experience and he wants to know where she's at.
And do we see any more development of this character?
No.
That's all the development we needed.
It's kind of sad. Like, I think Maurice could have been a really cool character in this, and maybe I would want to see more of him. Because that's a heart-touching fucking story where, like,
Yeah.
we thought that he was just an excited academic, and he was just doing this just for the story or whatever, but no, like, he's got a fucking actual connection to this.
Yeah.
I like it. Too bad they don't do anything with it. Just like, I'm waiting for the fucking Ouija board to come back. Where's the third appearance of the Ouija
Dude,
board?
it was already brought back, dude. It was
No,
brought
no.
back and it was cut
He
to
wants-
shit.
No.
He wants it brought back one more time because it was brought back twice. That
That's
was it.
The way that Chekhov's Ouija board works, you bring it up once, you show that it's something, you put it away, tuck it away, you show it off the second time just to remind people, hey, Ouija board is here. And then there's supposed to be a payoff with the Ouija board at the end. But the Ouija board had been destroyed, and we all know
Dude,
that.
it really was. I don't think she should have done that. She ripped it when she was
Yeah.
getting mad at Janet and Margaret. She was like, "Oh, you guys are scaring each other," and blah blah. Right before the card, or what was it, the cabinet? I don't know what it was. Slammed into the door. She ripped it, and that's just not something you do with a Ouija board, dude.
What, can you go in depth? Why not?
I feel like it's disrespectful towards the Ouija board because it's
I guess
not. It's something.
It's powerful.
It's very
We-
powerful.
we
This
gotta
is why I
keep
don't mess with Ouija boards.
We gotta keep in mind that they didn't do the proper steps to get rid of it. So now that portal is just, there's no chance of closing it. The door's open and that's it. And going back to the whole Maurice and Lorraine scene real quick, it goes to show that Lorraine does have this ability to bring comfort to other people.
Mm-hmm.
All of the people that have talked to her have opened up about something of their own. So she does bring this warmth with her.
Yeah.
Thank you for adding that. I love you.
I love this woman, dude.
Yeah, but do you feel my warmth?
Yeah.
Let me get a little
I
closer.
could smell your warmth,
Oh, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Musky.
This is very weird. I'm between these two guys.
Take
Oh my God.
hand,
Don't
Carlos.
Don't get between us, Lety.
Take
Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
Anyways, the scene cuts and we're with Ed Warren in the washroom now, and you can see that it's completely fucking flooded down there.
Yeah.
Fucking disgusting, dude.
And I think that water was there before, right? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, it's
it was
been
from the
there.
very
It was
beginning,
already
yeah.
flooded.
It's
It didn't-
fucking been there.
Yeah, it's terrible. Fucking awful.
The water bill must be sky fucking high. How come
Yeah.
no one's noticed this?
I just imagine the whole house would reek as a result of this. Oh my
Mhm.
god. Just seeing this room for the first time when I saw it with you guys, I'm like, oh my god, I could smell that room.
Yeah.
Oh. And he's like, okay, well, I think I can see the problem. And he sees bubbles coming out from one of the pipes in the deep water over here.
Yeah.
It's like knee height?
High knee. Oh my fucking god. It's knee deep.
Knee deep. So he goes in, and you got Peggy shining a flashlight for him. And he sticks his hand down into the water. He's like, oh, yeah, this is it. And so he starts ratcheting it with his little fucking tool or
His
whatever.
little
the fuck.
wrench, dude. Yeah.
Little wrench. And we get a shot here of Ed working, and then on the left side, you can see something coming up from the water. Looks
Yeah.
like a
And
man.
it's completely towards the back of Ed, so he's not noticing what's going on. But
Peggy feels something.
Yeah.
She starts looking behind him, shining the light
What's
into the room. No, she actually steps into the water, gets closer, and Ed, I think there's something behind you.
Ed turns around. There's no one.
No?
He turns back around to pick up the flashlight. He starts using his flashlight. It's just the empty room. It's
Yeah,
covered
but-
in water.
The man's not there anymore. And now Peggy looks into the water at her feet, and she sees the man grinning in the water. And he grabs her by the hand, tries to pull her down. Ed saves her,
What a hero.
and she has a bite mark.
Just like, oh my god, look. She shows the arm and it's like a giant bite. He bit me just like he did with Janet.
And then as soon as she says that, a little... No, I'm trying to do that. A little plop into the water, fuck it.
Leave that in.
Leave it all in, please. No, I could do a better one. That was a good one. And Ed he knows it. He puts his hand into the water, searches it for that whole time I was doing that fucking sound, and pulls out a little piece of denture.
Yeah.
It's like the top roof of the mouth, and
Yeah.
it's 2 fake teeth on it. He lines it up to the bite mark on Peggy's arm, and you can see the missing teeth in the bite mark match the dentures. Spooky?
Which is
That's
that's a
I'm
pretty
adding a
spook.
spook.
That's a
I'm
good
adding
You
spook,
think?
dude.
You think?
Well, I mean,
I would say it's a spook the way he appeared.
yeah. Not the whole.
The whole I think the whole thing was spooky.
Really?
Yeah.
The whole atmosphere
I think
with
it
the
was
whole fucking room.
creepy.
I was scared. I was scared.
I think it was
I'm scared.
creepy.
We'll give it a spook.
I am giving it a spook.
Okay.
Now we cut back to the kids are now
In the living room,
in the living room of...
decorating the Christmas tree.
Is this the same?
That's their house.
Yeah, that's their house. And Janet is staring into the kitchen, and she's like, "Do you see that?" And Margaret's like, "See what?"
Sorry, I just want to point out to the people
Mm-hmm.
listening that I question that if it's the house or not, because it's literally the same house. They just have
Yeah.
different furniture and different wallpaper, so it's so easy to mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Janet responds, "In the kitchen."
You don't see it?
And
Tell me
then
what you see.
yeah. It's playing with the knives. Hiding in the dark.
And we get a little scene of the dark kitchen with nothing there. And now
You have
Johnny.
you have the siblings kind of getting close together, and you have Johnny walking towards the kitchen.
For the first fucking time.
Johnny, what are you doing?
Johnny, no! Johnny, don't go! Janet says.
Remember what Mr. Warren said? We can't let it bully us. This is our house.
Johnny, please come back.
Our house.
And you have Johnny entering the kitchen, and you have all the knives on top of the table, like just stabbed it there.
Dude.
Yeah. Not deep, just the tips of them stabbed
Yeah.
in. But we didn't see them there before.
And then you have Margaret screaming, and then Johnny goes, and he's like, "What? What's wrong?" And he's like, "Janet's gone. She was here, and she disappeared." And then
You hear metal scraping on
and then
the stone.
Johnny turns, and Janet's right there holding a knife.
Ed and Lorraine, Ed and Peggy, they hear them in the basement and they run upstairs.
Lorraine and
as soon
Maurice are outside, and they run inside.
And as soon as Ed walks into the house, he gets thrown off by a chair, fucking thrown right in front of his face. And all we just see is kind of chaos happening right now. We see tables being flipped over, doors are being locked right in
Yeah.
front of Ed.
Margaret is like, "Mom, Johnny's in there." Everyone's freaking out. You have
We have
Ed finally opening
breaking
the
door.
Yeah.
And he's finally in the kitchen now. And it's trash. Completely fucking trash. And begging, "Oh, Johnny, where's Johnny? Johnny?" And even the light fixture is swinging, adding to the atmosphere of this destroyed kitchen now.
And you hear Johnny crying, and the mom opens the pantry that they have there, and he's hiding on the bottom.
Yeah, and they hold each other, and now we get a better look at the destruction. We have Maurice picking up a metal spoon that had been bent.
Yeah.
You have the British assistant holding up, I guess, a microphone with headphones so he could hear it better.
Yeah.
And he walks into the hallway outside the kitchen, and then he starts to hear like growling, I think.
I love this scene because we get the audio of what he's listening.
Mm-hmm.
And then he points the little mic towards the outside, and we hear like little crickets and just fucking your ambient noise of the outside.
He like tells guys, I'm picking up something, so they all go towards him, and then
But before we move on, I just want to add my joke for this scene.
Here we go.
I can't wait to get these samples on for my mixtape.
Yeah.
I got the assistant coming in with the microphone and the headset. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Good samples.
Our house.
so then you have Ed opening. I don't know.
He's reaching for a little closet that they have.
I don't know
and
if
he
it's a
burns it.
closet. Is it a closet?
It's like a
there's-
utility kind of thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
say is where you would have your
Heater?
breaker.
Oh, the
you have
breaker.
where you have the breaker.
Yeah, the breaker. And he kind of burns himself on the pipe that's there. A little hot pipe, I guess. That would be the
Yeah.
heater for downstairs. And they open it up, and you got Janet cramped up into this little tight space.
Like
Yeah, it looks
twisted. She looks.
And she's
It looks like
fucking
she shouldn't be
yelling
there.
at them.
Yeah.
She's fucking yelling at them, and then Ed is just staring, and he kind of gets the cross and points at her face again,
And
like
Mhm.
last.
And what does she say? I
she
need to go
says,
back. Sorry. Me won't. Me won't. Me. And she kind of slumps over, and then it looks like she's stopped, like she's passed out at that point.
I don't even know how Ed is gonna get her out of there. Honestly,
I mean, we
that
don't
was
even
really weird.
really get to see. They kind of pan away, and then she's out.
yeah, Ed is just like, it's okay, it's okay. Peggy's crying.
I'm gonna add a spook not for what Janet did in that room, but for Janet being wrapped up,
Twisted in that.
twisted
Yeah, dude.
twisted
Like,
into that little closet thing.
That's definitely a fucking spook.
Definitely,
I'm a little spooked right now, actually.
I'm definitely spooked.
Ed just slams it because he was also spooked.
Now we got the kids on the sofa. We got Peggy,
comforting Janet.
yeah, kind of putting a cloth to her face. I guess cleaning her up. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the skeptic coming into the house.
Anita.
It's like, I cannot talk to you guys for a second. And you get all the investigators and the Warrens together. And it's like, you guys need to see this. I have proof.
She's faking it. And then she shows them a video of like Janet destroying everything. But I want to point out she throws a fucking table. Like, what kind of strength is that? And you're telling me she's faking it? Like,
no, everything that she's throwing it with such strength. It's either made of fucking foam or it's fucking assisted by fucking strength, right?
Yeah.
From the spirit. And even like her bending the spoon that Maurice had picked up. I mean, she does it with no effort, like it's fucking putty.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is enough for them to say, "Oh yeah, she's faking it all, dude." You can tell by my tone of voice how I feel about this lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's like, so much for your leap of faith, huh? Fucking cunt.
And I'm like, what does she even get out of this for it being fake? I don't understand.
Her being right, dude.
I guess so. I would love to be right.
Her keeping her title of a skeptic is what she keeps.
And she comes up to Peggy and is like, oh, it's over. For the sake of your daughter, you need to stop this right now. She couldn't have pulled this off alone.
How dare you?
I mean,
what about the police? Are they in and out too?
Yeah, and we get Peggy looking at Ed and Lorraine's like, you believe me, don't you? Ed is like, yes, but the church will take one look at that tape, and they'll want to distance themselves. They want to distance themselves that anything that resembles a hoax.
Yeah. And at this point, Peggy's just done with it. She's like, I would like you all to leave now. A lot of you, get out.
And Marie's kind of like wanted to take like a last word, and she's like, get out.
And you can see Janet just completely broken down in the sofa.
Yeah, I also want to point out throughout that whole conversation, Janet was looking at the Warrens like kind of like, please believe me, like please, like after those two conversations that she had separately with them, she was kind of just hoping that they would be that person for her.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, but you're right.
And so the scene cuts and they're walking out of the house. And Maurice is now asking Lorraine, can't you just make contact with the spirit on your own? It's like, I can't. Believe me, I tried. I'm sorry. I'm just not sensing anything here. So that's it then? From the neighbor? We don't like this any more than you do. We'll tell the church everything we've seen. But the only piece of concrete evidence we got is the video of Janet faking it. And Maurice is like, but there's genuine other instances of genuine fucking haunting, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it changes everything, though. Like, we're interested in the church, and they're going to tell us to go back. And your work is done here, too, Maurice.
You've done a good job, but, like, go.
Yeah, you've been here since no one else was here.
And he thanks them, kind of reluctantly. It's like, but it's sometimes you just need a leap of faith. Believe when no one will.
That character development, dude.
And his character's done.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not his house. It's not in the middle of the street. Like, it's done.
And he is not a hound dog, I'll tell you that much.
We get a shot of Ed and Lorraine looking back into the house, and it's Janet. She's standing out, just looking at them. Fucking sad, dude.
And the Warrens look away before she does. And they get in their car and they go away.
And
This
then,
doesn't feel right from
Lorraine.
like, I know.
And now they're at the fucking train station already, completely packed up and ready to go.
Like, have a safe trip. They're getting their shit.
And being a man, of
Yeah,
course,
I was about to say,
Ed
dude.
is picking up all the luggage.
Lorraine's
So much
weak
luggage
as
that they
fuck.
took all the way to fucking England, right?
For 3 days.
For 3 days, and now they're gonna take the train back to America.
Jeez.
So I mean, where are they gonna go? Oh, they go to the airport. No, they go to the train station because in the train station you can have a scene of them realizing they need to get off the train.
That's true, dude. It makes sense. Makes sense. They could have had that scene in the fucking car. Just saying. On the way to the train station. I was like, you know what? Turn
No,
around.
they needed the table. They needed the table in the train.
We could have had a badass turnaround scene with the car, dude.
They
coulda
also
done
could
some
have had
Fast
it
and
in
Furious
in
shit.
the airport, like in the waiting area.
I'm pretty sure there's a deleted scene somewhere where they did that scene in an airport.
I don't know. But I don't know about them flipping the bitch in London streets. I don't understand anything about the England roads. What I do know is they drive on the wrong side, so
That's true.
dangerous.
They do
Dangerous
drive
stuff.
on the wrong side. And they use the metric system. Gross.
Scene cuts.
We're the only ones that use.
That don't use the metric system.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that use the right
The
system.
right system, dude. Honestly, we're the only ones that are in the right, dude.
Imperial AF.
Yeah, dude.
Scene cuts back to the house. You got Janet just hung over the couch back and looking out to the window, and you got
Like defeated, dude. She's super sad, and
Yeah.
you have the siblings like, oh, Janet, is it true? Like, did she really fake it?
and Janet just looks at them. It said it would kill you if I didn't make them leave. Scene cuts back to the train.
Lorraine's like, don't you think it's just a coincidence that it happened in the one room where we had a video camera? Like, yep. No. And he gets the tapes kind of following him. And he's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, because he's the one carrying all the luggage. I don't know
Yeah,
what
he
the fuck.
could have had some help, but I mean, whatever.
I guess
And
thankfully he had all the work because him spilling the things, the tape from the cassettes kind of make an X, and for whatever reason that's a sign for him.
yeah, because X marks the spot, dude.
But I think it's
All
it makes
men know
sense.
about treasure.
It's the way that they cross, right?
Yeah.
So that they happen at the same time in a spot, and this is where they get the realization.
Like, thread it through and we'll start it, and we get a little image of them kind of skipping through the video and just putting it play. He's like, all right.
Yeah, they have
Remember-
two recorders at this point set
Like,
up.
remember those strange rooms that we were getting, from Bill? Like, yeah. Okay, well, there was two of them, right? Here's the first one.
And it's playing at the perfect spot. Help it let go. Help it let
And you get a
go.
flashback of when it happened.
He pauses the video. The audio, and he's like, we thought he was talking about himself. Like, yes. Now listen to the second one.
Me won't. Me won't.
Again, you get a flashback of how it happened.
Won't. And anyone just paying enough attention will be able to put it together already in their heads.
Yeah. So Ed kind of rewinds the video, and he's like, okay. If I'm right about this.
So he plays them at the same time. And somehow they're perfectly synced at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Help me, it won't let me go. Help me, it won't let me go.
And you have Lorraine kind of like, and then she gets pushed back into the chair, and then she's finally able to connect with this Bill spirit.
No, she's having a vision,
Mm-hmm.
and she just sees Bill sitting in his chair, a little light hanging over him. We assume this is how he lived his life,
Yeah.
right?
He looks chill as fuck, dude.
You're just enjoying the little bit of oxygen that he's got.
He's an old man, dude,
Yeah.
Just give me a chair. Give me a nice, old, literally chair like me, and
And a
I'll be
lawn so I
alright.
can tell kids to get off it.
yeah, dude. And give me a clicker, and I have a TV in front of me. What else do I need?
And give me the queen.
That's true. Give me the queen.
And now Lorraine's just standing over him, or next to him, over him.
In front of him.
In front of him.
You guys want to do this scene?
I came to see my family, but they're not here now. I think I'd like to go now, but I can't.
Why not?
It wants her so badly. I just want to point out we get a clear look at Bill's face here. It's not the same face that we've seen throughout the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
He's been a demonic force.
Yeah,
in
he
the
doesn't look. He doesn't look as intimidating.
Well,
He
because
right
he-
now he looks just like a fragile old man.
movie. It always looked like he had like fangs, and it always looked like he was gonna attack. And
Yeah.
the whites,
Like
his
yellow
eyes
eyes
were
also,
yellow.
yeah.
he had yellow demonic eyes, and he was a terrifying presence.
Mm-hmm.
But in this instance, you just see him for what he is, just an old,
Just an
dying
old
man.
fucking fragile man, dude.
And it just you even see in his face, he's just tired.
Yeah.
It almost has her.
Tell me how to stop it.
I'm given and I'm taken. I was there at your first breath. You didn't ask for me, but I'll follow you till death.
Wait, I don't understand. Please.
This is when
We get
the nun.
This is where we see the nun, the creature that Ed has been seeing, the creature that's been giving the premonitions to Lorraine about Ed dying. We see the nun actually hold the spirit back, sit him back in his chair, and it growls and it's looking at her, and she comes to. She wakes up in the train station.
And you see the giant mouth gaping fucking teeth from the demon
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And we cut back to the train, and we got Lorraine being comforted by Ed at this point.
Yeah.
She's
like,
like,
oh my God, you're
bleeding
bleeding.
from her nose, yeah. She starts crying.
What is happening? At this point, he knows that she had a vision.
Yeah. And then she explains to Ed how the old man's just a pawn and that he's been enslaved by the inhuman spirit. And she tells Ed to go get Vic so they can go back to the house.
There's demonic presence, and we need to get Vic before he leaves.
We get a glimpse of the house now. We're back at the house, and Peggy's just cleaning up the mess, and she's fucking breaking down. Like, she's crying.
Yeah, well, she's alone now.
She's alone at this
Yeah,
point.
and they told her that all this is just made up. She's being gaslit right now.
It's made up, and apparently she's a part of it. It's all her fault.
And then she hears giants. She just hears screaming, commotion in the living room. She runs to the living room and she sees her daughter floating. She sees both her daughters floating. Margaret freaking out, asking for help. Mom, help, help.
And Janet's laughing. and
Laughing.
demonic
As
laugh.
she's fucking floating up in the sky.
With
dude.
yellow eyes.
She gets down to the ground, and now she's just staring at her mother and her sister. Just terrifying presence in those eyes.
The mother takes the kids outside and tells them to go to Peggy's house.
It starts raining hard.
Yeah, and she's like, I have to go get Janet. I can't leave her alone. And when she's about to go in the house, the door slams.
Left her alone.
Yeah.
And it's locked, of course.
So it cuts back to it actually cuts back to the car. And Vic's like, well, I don't understand. I mean, first you said it's not real, and now it is. Her sight was being blocked by an inhumane spirit. Ed comes in. Lorraine's the old man. He couldn't break through until I left the house. Everything they've experienced, everything has been manifested demonic. The old man, the crooked man, they're just
Pond.
they're just pawns. In my vision, he wanted to help me, but he was scared. He kept speaking in some sort of rhyme, some sort of riddle. And you
they're
just
speeding past
something
cars.
like I'm given and I'm taken. I was there in your first breath. You didn't ask for me, but I will follow you until your death.
Yeah, and at this point, after she says the riddle to the men, of course the men figure out the riddle in a second.
Like your name.
It's just a
Ed.
riddle. It's about your name.
She's like, yeah, the name gives us power over it. She's like, but why would... And then...
But why would they? Well, why would he tell me that? It's
Yeah.
like, well, why would he give us that clue unless he thinks that we somehow already have it?
Yeah, and then
It's like,
Lorraine's
okay.
like, we do. We probably already do know it.
It's like, okay, we get Janet to the church before it kills me. Last time, if a spirit is this strong to block Lorraine's vision, it's way too much for me. It's way too much. We need to get to a church.
Yeah.
Implying that Conjuring 1 was nothing but some bitch. That's it.
It was just a witch.
That's true.
Witch spirit. But this is something demonic.
Yeah, this is actually something fucked up.
So they get back to the house at this point. They're trying to break their way in. So we got the kids and everyone in the fucking house outside. And they already have a game plan. They just want to get Janet out and
Yeah.
get her to a church. That's it.
That's it.
They don't understand if they can defeat it yet with a name because they don't know the name.
So,
And after failing with the door, Ed goes to the window, breaks it open. It shatters so cleanly. I gotta point out.
yeah, dude.
And then right before he's gonna make his way in, B&E style, the couch moves across the room, the living room, and completely blocks the window, throwing Ed back.
So then Ed decides to go through the back, and you have Lorraine screaming at him, Ed, no, no. And then Peggy's like, I'm coming with you. And then Lorraine's like, no, you stay with the kids. And like just chaos all around.
Yeah, this is a very, very fast-paced scene here. Ed
Right.
actually goes into the basement where the washroom was.
And it's open.
Yeah, it's open. So we have Lorraine chasing after him. He leaves the door open for her, but the door slams right before she comes in. He's like, Ed. He's like, no, come on. And they're both trying to open it. They're kind of pushing the door towards each other, which is fucking hilarious. And
Personally, I feel like this scene could also be cut. But we do get a scene here. Okay, first Vic comes in and he's like, oh, well, let me go get something to break this.
And she's like, yeah, break it, Ed.
like,
He's like, no, I can't wait. I need to go on. It's like, no, stop. You can't fight this alone.
And then you
Again,
have
like
like
the
this
first
moment
fucking
of
movie.
like, of just like calm, and she's like, she needs our help, and then she's like, Ed, please just wait for me. Please wait for me.
But no, Ed knows in his conscience he has to help this girl.
For
Because no
all-
one else will.
For all you Doctor Who fans, I'm sure you understand this.
I
Scene.
can't lose you. I'm so scared.
They're just leaning towards it. It's all fucking Rose and Tyler. Oh.
I was about to say, I'm pausing this to let everyone know that this is Rose Tyler and the Ninth Doctor.
David Tennant, though.
Their little scene where they...
It's the 10th Doctor.
10th Doctor.
10th Doctor, my bad, I did say 9th.
Yeah, I said 9th. Whatever. David Tennant.
David Tennant, yeah.
Great doctor. Comment your favorite doctor down below.
Please.
Matt Smith. Matt Smith
Matt
is my favorite Doctor.
Damn. I'm honestly with David Tennant and Peter Capaldi.
If you would like to know my favorite doctor, let me know in the comments down below. Oh,
And-
you know what? I completely forgot. Adding the spook for the nun in the old man scene.
Oh,
Good
okay,
call.
there you
Good
go,
call.
there
We
you
got a
go.
little bit carried away. That scene goes way too fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good scene. I really like the old man scene right there. Unfortunately, that's the last time we see him.
That is true.
I feel
That's
like
true.
we don't get closure with him, and I hate that.
I hope he got released, dude.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, that after they get rid of the demon, then he could pass on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And it
but
looked like he
but
was
we-
ready to.
but we
that's
didn't
just
get to see
left
that.
to assumption.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's left to assumption. I hate that. Just like how we're supposed to assume that Maurice takes this in his stride rather than
Yeah.
being like, holy shit, there's demonic presence here.
And just how
And
we're
my daughter may be affected by this sort of shit. Fuck that.
dude, and just like how we're left to assume that Rose Tyler and that other doctor actually stayed together in that fucking other universe.
I'm sure
too.
they did. I'm sure they did. I
And
like
what
to
the fuck is
believe
gonna-
that they
And
did.
what the fuck's gonna happen to that snake from Raised by Wolves at the end of the
No,
fucking
don't
series?
bring back the snake. Fuck the
what
snake.
the fuck is gonna
Please
happen?
Bring back the snakes.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got confirmation. Season 2 is already being fucking
Filmed.
filmed.
During
Ridley
quarantine.
Scott sent me a message. He's like, "Yo, Albert, shit's
Yeah.
going down." And I'm yelling timber, and I was like, "Damn, Ridley, shit, I got you, bro." So we're already in contact with Ridley Scott. ladies and gentlemen.
And we still haven't heard back from Aaron.
That's true. We're still waiting on Aaron, but it's cool. It's cool. We're patient, you know.
Okay,
There's time.
going back to the scene.
No, now going back to the
No,
scene.
yes, going back to the scene.
Before we go back to the scene, I just want to point out, if you haven't listened to our podcast on Raised by Wolves, please go back and listen to the podcast Raised by Wolves. Thank you.
Very
Please
good.
check
11
it out.
episodes. Please check it out.
12 with
Okay.
the extra episode.
Not sponsored by
No,
HBO Max, but
it's
would like to be.
11 with the extra episode.
11 with the extra episode, ladies and gentlemen. Not sponsored by
But would like to
HBO Max.
But would like
Well,
to be.
definitely would like to be sponsored.
Okay, going back to the scene. So,
hit
Lorraine
me up.
said, I'm so scared. And then Ed says, I know, me too. And then Lorraine says, but what about my vision? I know, I made a promise to you, hun,
But I'm breaking it.
but I have to do this.
I'm a man.
I love you, Lorraine.
Broken.
And then you have
He
Lorraine
leaves.
saying, Ed, no, stop, don't. And she's just pleading him to come back, and he just keeps going. You have a shot of him going through all the water that's down in the...
Yeah, and it's just getting worse because of the actual rain and the fucking... It pouring through the fucking house now because apparently the whole floor broke down and there's a giant pipe that's just gushing in all the water down there.
Yeah.
And now I can smell the room, and it smells better because of all the rain. But
Honestly, thank God, dude. Something needed to be done.
so Ed sees a little spot where it looks like the floorboard is a little weak. I assume that's why he's doing this, because then he gets a pipe from the ground, loose pipe, just starts smacking the bottom of this fucking house.
Cuts to Vig going back to his house and getting an axe, and then running back to
I just want to
their house.
I just want to point out that I love the lighting of that shed there, where the moonlight is perfectly hitting the axe head.
Yeah, dude. Someone's doing a good fucking job.
Yeah.
Someone needs to get a fucking raise. It's like, yo, how did you get the moon to be positioned in this spot.
Yeah, they got God, they got set designed by God.
That's true. It makes sense. It makes sense.
So at this point, Ed has broken his way through the floorboard. And you can see as he's making his way up that the pipe that he burned himself on earlier is twisting in a
It's
maniacal
opening
way.
up, basically.
It's opening up and it bursts the second he gets in front of it, spraying his face with hot steam. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Fucked him up. And then we get my boy Vic over here coming back to where
Vic
Lorraine
is your
was.
boy.
Now he is. Look at him. He's fucking axing that shit away, dude.
He's
Working hard, dude.
Kind
Working
of
hard.
pathetic with that axe, I gotta say.
Honestly, he kind of is, but it's a
God.
dull axe, dude. You could tell by that moonlight that was hitting it. It was dull as fuck.
It looked pretty good. I don't know, but whatever.
And then
Cutting back to Ed, who's now dazed by what happened to him.
yeah, you could tell like around his eyes that he's kind of fucked up, which goes back to the vision that Lorraine was given. This is kind of what Ed actually looked like.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a burnt face.
Yeah.
But now, so we can see his vision. It gives us some blurry angles of him walking through, some point of view shots, I mean. And he can't see fucking anything. It's fucking terrible. I've never been without glasses, but I assume this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And he can't even see the fucking spooky things happening to the side, so I'm not adding into the spookinator.
Yeah,
I'm
he
saying.
he walks into the kitchen, and then we see the crooked man's hand hold the door. And then he's walking by, he goes to the hallway, and it's just kind of blinking, the lights are going in and out. Again, behind him, you see the crooked man. Tall. He's wearing like a red suit, red hat.
He's like twitching in the back.
Yeah, he's kind of twitching. He's kind of just moving very, very awkwardly towards him.
And you get the choir from the vision that Lorraine had with her daughter, where they saw the nun. You get that choir singing.
Yeah, it's a TV that's now busted on the floor, kind of
It's
half
going like
static.
in and out, yeah.
Yeah. But super scary fucking children's choir. Fuck that. Just
Poor
cancel,
choir, dude. They're just trying to do their best.
cancel
and then
all
they're using
children's
it.
choirs. You're canceled, bitch.
We get Ed. He hears Janet. He's like, "Help me!" He hears her from one side. He hears her from another side, and then he hears. It says, if you're looking at this with subtitles, you hear Bill growling. Ed takes off the cross. He's like, "Okay, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." And then he raises up his
cross.
cross, and he starts speaking in Latin, basically kind of performing like the exorcism. That's kind of what it looked like in the first movie.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of the same. And then we get my boy Vic here failing.
And Lorraine looking from the stairs, and she runs up the stairs, and she's like, "What's your name? What's your name?" She's trying to remember, and then she screams, "What's your name?" And she finally remembers.
And we got a little flashback of the
That-
scene with the nun
yeah.
in the hallway and her dream. Of course, we remember she wrote into the Bible.
He's like, "You told me
your name."
You told me your name."
She was stabbing it into the Bible.
I wrote it down. And she runs to the car.
I gotta say, in the scenes that we saw of her writing into the
I
Bible,
need my Bible.
There's no way that she's gonna recognize the fucking letters. It's just
Yeah,
all
like she
scratched up.
like destroyed the pages,
really
but when
did.
she finally gets the Bible and she looks for the name, it's like perfectly just like written.
We get another shot of Ed walking around the house.
Yeah, he's slowly going up the stairs.
It's like VALAK.
Valak. Oh, and at that moment, she's turning to go back into the house. Lightning strikes the tree in front of the house, completely destroying it and leaving a spike of its trunk. And at this moment, of course, we
put it all together, basically. Cause
we
Lorraine,
put it all together. I felt like they were going to show us the thing again.
Yeah.
But it's the spike that cut through her husband
Mm-hmm.
in her visions.
Yeah, and Lorraine realizes that. She comes to that realization. She's like,
And she
"Ed,"
like
and
goes
she runs
running, yeah.
inside.
I mean, she was already rushing, but now she's extra rushing.
Yeah, we get this. I love this scene right here. We get Ed. He's at the second story now. He's at the second floor. He's coming up. He puts his crucifix around his neck, And then the little tent, the little crooked man's little rhyme is going on. He
Little
found
machine, yeah.
the little toy, and he gets close to it. He gets really close to it. And he's
Crouches
actually in
down.
there.
He's in the tent at this point, halfway in at least.
He's like squinging, and you see the crooked man there, and it starts disappearing. It disappears from the toy. It's not there anymore, but the toy's still playing. He looks up, and the crooked man is there physically. Ed jumps back.
A giant smile that the cricket man
from
does.
ear to ear, literally with spiky teeth. He's looking at the tent, and the tent is growing. It's all the way to the roof.
It's like shaking and growing, and then at that moment, the entire fucking wall just kind of bursts.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
crazy
the roof
scene.
also, yeah.
The whole roof starts cracking, and it cracks all the way to the boys' room, and you see the crooked man actually appear from the end of that crack. And the crooked man is actually a giant, slender man-looking figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a tall man with like sharp arms.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a crooked man.
That looks pretty straight to me. I don't know, but
It closes the door and it cuts to Lorraine getting in the way of Vic and getting through the now perfectly cut hole that Vic had done.
it's just enough space for Lorraine to fit
Yeah.
through.
It's a Lorraine cutout
Yeah.
in that door. Because that's what
Yeah.
Vic was doing. He was doing a cutout. He wasn't just trying to break through it.
I mean, it looked like he was getting tired too, so it looked like he was about to take a break. Honestly,
Yeah, a little 5-minute break, dude. What's the problem?
I'll get to it.
And then
tomorrow.
Lorraine is like, let me through. And he's like, no, please, let me through. Let me through it.
And then he shoves like one arm in there and nothing else fits.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So we
And that's
get
where in case you guys don't know, Vic is fat, so he
That's
doesn't
true.
fit. He does not fit through the hole.
that's your little comic relief for all of you that
I don't
thought
think
that
it's
was
comic
comedic.
relief. I just think it's like, okay, well, you could have gotten a big guy. It didn't have to be a fat man.
Okay.
Whatever.
I don't
what to
know.
do on that.
They just wanted a big guy to be there so he wouldn't go through the door, but Lorraine could. Because Lorraine was the one that had to get through, not him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now we get a shot of Ed, and he finally made it to the girls' room, and he opens up the door, and you just see he just sees like a black figure. He doesn't see what it is, but then the camera pans in, and we see that it's Janet. And she's standing in front of the door. She kind of puts her hands
The window.
back.
The window.
She's in front of the window. Sorry, she puts both her hands back, and the window just shatters, and all the glass goes towards her face, and it cuts her up.
It's like if it was broken by the wind breaking in.
Breaking
Yeah.
We know it's some
inwards.
sort of demonic force, right?
Right.
And she's cut
um,
up a little bit like Exorcist.
Yeah.
Here we go. Obviously showing that possession side. So she actually walks up to the window, and we get an angle at the spike. Like that's exactly where she's at, and she
Perfectly
kind of just
positioned. And
yeah,
she
she jumps
jumps.
forward. Then fucking Ed charges, and he grabs her. One hand on her, the other hand on the curtain that's there. A very resistant curtain, not sponsored by the makers of these curtains, but I would definitely like to be.
I would
we-
love some of these curtains, yeah.
Yeah, honestly. And we get Lorraine running through the house, second floor, tiny house. She's already in the room.
But
She's
she's got
like,
plenty of time
"Ed."
because this curtain's strong as fuck.
Yeah.
You're barely losing one ring on it now.
She turns to the corner and she sees the nun.
She sees the demon, and Ed's like, Lorraine,
Yeah.
fuck.
Ed doesn't see it. Ed
Yeah.
just knows that she's there now.
Yeah. She
But-
runs towards Ed, but the demon screams at her and pushes her towards a wall, and she's like slammed there. I guess
She's pinned to the
hovering.
wall. She's
Yeah,
pinned
yeah,
to the
yeah,
wall.
yeah. She's pinned to the wall, but she's not on the floor. She's on whatever.
She's levitating, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, your name gives me the dominion over you, and I know your name. You are Valak, the Defiler, the Profane, the Marquis of Snakes. Marquis of Snakes. In the name of the Father and the Holy and the, Son and the Holy Spirit, I condemn you back to hell.
And she screams out there.
Yeah.
And you get to see the nun kind of shrink away at
She
that.
fucking implodes.
Well, you kind of see her become her true form for a second.
Yeah.
You get to see horns in her figure. And that's it. She dissolves into nothing in the corner.
And finally, the fucking curtain rips after more than 200 some pounds were put on it.
But Lorraine is strong enough to fucking carry them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she can't carry the fucking luggage, I guess. And we get the family finally is let into the house, and Ed and the child kind of fall in, and
Well, I just want to point out, She's not gonna fuck the luggage when she gets back home, but she is gonna fuck Ed.
That's true.
That's motivation right
Yeah,
there.
I'd pay for that. I'd pay for that.
I know you would.
And
Only Warrens.
then,
Whatever.
Oh my god.
and then we get obviously everything. This is the end. We're at the end of the climax here.
Everyone's safe. We got Peggy holding Janet, and Janet just looking at her mother, and you kind of see her kind of starting to smile again. And Lorraine's holding Warren. I mean, holding Ed.
Ed holding Ed. Lorraine
I said
holding
Lorraine
Ed.
holding Warren. Which is weird. That's a weird way to phrase it. I'm
I
sorry.
just wanted to point out when Lorraine pulled them back in, she's like, Ed, are you okay? And he's like, check on Janet.
He says no. He's like, no, check on Janet. Why don't you carry the luggage? And it's finally daytime. The scene cuts. Cameras panning down. There's a couple people outside, and we get to the There's an ambulance there.
I want to point out that today looks like the best day in London since we've started this.
Yeah.
Or in England, not
No
London.
rain.
It's not London. But yeah, no fucking clouds. It's actually sunny. You could think it's America for a second.
Damn. Yeah, they look pretty free, honestly. And then they look at the girl, and the girl's being checked out by. I didn't see if it was a cop, honestly.
You wanna go back? I'm going back. Whatever. As I was talking over all this.
A paramedic?
Yeah, I think it's a paramedic. So, Ed and Lorraine are in the back of an ambulance. They're being checked out by some paramedic. Okay, cool. You guys are good.
They gave Ed a blanket. That's
Yeah,
how you
he's
know
cold,
that
dude.
he's taken care of.
And they look at the family, and they see, yeah, she's being checked out by the paramedic. And they're like, does she look alright? Yeah, she's fine. And he's like, you saved her. Lorraine tells Ed. And he's like, Ed's like, no, you saved us.
And she's like, yeah.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell
It
you?
meant something.
It meant something. It's like, you believe in me? Look at them, dude. Oh my god, they're so cute.
But at this point, Ed was right. Like, oh yeah, her vision was from God to help them out, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess you were right this time. Carry my luggage, Ed. So we get the little girl, the mom takes her and is like, thank you. Thanks for coming back for us. Janet just charges at Ed and gives him a hug. And it's like, here, sit down. And they sit the girl like in between both of them. And Ed gets his cross and he's like, you know, this has kept me safe since I was a kid. I want you to have it. And when you're grown up, you find someone else that needs it and you give it to them. And she's kind of just looking at the...
Yeah, she doesn't say anything. She just kind of holds it, and then... I'm so lucky. You said one person could change anything. But... I've got two. Yeah, she got two people to change her life. Save her life, really.
Yeah.
Her mom just fucking finally happy to have her kid back, honestly.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah,
kind of...
I don't even understand what the nun's motivation was.
What do you mean? Just pure evil, dude?
I guess so, but just to kill Janet? Fuck Janet, I
Yeah,
guess?
fuck Janet, dude. You know what
She
the
was,
fuck...
she was not smoking?
Yeah, honestly. And then we get an angle that's looking at Lorraine and just kind of pans back to the house, and we get some words here.
I'll read this out, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead, dude.
The haunting of Enfield would go on to become one of the most documented cases in paranormal history. Period. Peggy Hodgson would continue to live out the rest of her days in the Green Street house. In 2003, she passed away quietly while sitting in a chair in the living room, the exact same spot where Bill Wilkins had died 40 years earlier. And we get a shot of that chair. We expected it to move, but nothing there.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to assume that since she was comfortable enough to live and die there, that he was gone.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah, the scene cuts, and it's Ed back in America, living the free. And he's in that room where they have all the artifacts of all their cases. And he slowly slides over the little music box from Conjuring 1.
And if you pay attention, he's using a napkin to move everything.
Yeah.
He's not actually touching it.
And he places the box of the Crooked Man toy on there. And it's a little projector. I still am positive it's projector, but whatever.
And then he hears music playing. He kind of goes out of the room, and it's Lorraine, and she's playing Elvis.
Ain't nothing but a
We get a beautiful scene here of Ed and Lorraine just dancing, just holding each other because they're so perfect.
Christmas.
Because they're so perfect.
They're dancing, by the way, to the same song that he was singing with the kids earlier.
Not Hound Dog, apparently.
Yeah, not Honda.
There's a beautiful fire right behind them. Oh, it's so warm in
The
America.
Christmas tree has an angel on top of it.
Oh, what? The camera zooms in.
And we
They're
get a
just
still-
holding each other.
Yeah, we get a still of Ed and Lorraine there at the end. For the fans that love them.
Yes.
So for you, Albert.
Honestly, that scene was for me. I appreciate it.
And the...
I actually kind of thought that Maurice was gonna come out at the end. You know, when like there's like paramedics and like cops in there.
Yeah, but
I thought like he would like hear something and kind of just like show up.
That would have been great, dude.
No, but he was gone.
But yeah,
he was just
there's-
like... He's probably at home the next morning. He's like, oh, goddamn it. Like,
I
I
missed
really,
it.
I really believed.
I really believed
And I
it.
missed it. I missed all of it.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, guess what, dude? When you left, shit went down, dude. Maurice.
What? No way. Oh, man.
He's the fucking Blitz,
The
dudes. He's the Blitz.
Oh, man.
And then we get the credits and we get, actual audio.
Apparently, this is the actual audio of the recording that they had for the interview with Margaret and
Janet.
Janet, and where we hear Bill's voice.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Like, we're getting the actual
Yeah.
fucking audio of that.
I want to point out that the subtitles don't show that it is Bill.
Yeah.
I think that maybe for the movie they added a character,
Mm-hmm.
a sympathetic character. In the audio for the ending right here, it's just the creature.
Yeah.
Interesting. And we get more pictures of all the real life events, and we even get the comparisons between the real photos of the evidence that they had and then the photos that were replicated for the movie here.
Yeah, which is what we talked about earlier. Like, this is exactly when it goes down. It's fucking great.
And I like this for The Conjuring. I like that they put the real stuff at the end because, I mean, it's...
Yeah, they remind us that it's
Real.
based on a true
Yeah.
events.
Hopefully they do that with the Conjuring 3.
That would be cool. I'm sure.
Unless it's just used, or, like it was just a made up story.
Oh.
I'd be okay with a made-up story, but I just want
Just
it to be
for like
good.
another movie
I
with
just
Ed
want
and
it to be
Lorraine.
good.
If
I-
it doesn't say based on true events, I'm like, okay, I guess. Just take it off right then and there.
What?
Yeah.
You had a problem with my Ed and Lorraine fanfiction?
That's true. That's true.
You would love my fanfiction.
Shit. Only if we get to see them doing it in a scene,
Oh my
honestly.
God.
Of course it's explicit.
Oh my god.
Of course it's explicit. It's fanfiction.
Shit, dude, that's true.
They do butt stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
So I think that about wraps it up for us here
Yeah.
at the far side of the
And I'm
moon.
pretty sure Ed wrapped it up too, because I mean, shit.
Oh my god.
We know he didn't wrap it up. We know he didn't.
May they rest in peace. Honestly, fuck.
They're not in peace. We're not letting them in peace, apparently. Look at all these moves we're
Yeah,
making.
dude, that's true, dude.
I mean, I'm sure they had some permission from the first movie because Lorraine
they
made a
actually had
little
Lorraine.
cameo.
They actually had Lorraine. But I have to assume that they...
That's so
That she was-
sad. Ed left first.
Yeah.
I have to assume that she was sort of restrictive because they didn't immediately come out with more movies. They took a while to come out
Yeah.
with the other ones. So who knows what they actually did. Honestly, I don't care. I just want it to be a good fucking movie. I
Yeah.
thought it was a decent movie.
It was a good
You
movie.
guys hyped it the fuck up, honestly.
Not on purpose. I was just saying that I liked it.
We did tell you that this movie puts us to sleep.
You did say
I don't know
that.
how that's hyping it up. Like, yo, we're about to watch this movie that puts me to sleep, dude.
But I
That's
really love
basically
it.
And I hyped it up, apparently.
But I really
it's
love
your
it.
favorite Conjuring movie?
Yeah, dude.
It is.
Out of the two.
It's because,
Out of the whole universe.
Oh, the whole universe.
yeah, dude.
That does not make me...
You look forward to the other
yeah,
movies.
I'm not very motivated to the other ones.
Well,
But
Sorry.
yeah, dude, but I mean,
watch out for those. Whenever
Annabelle
those
Comes
come out.
Home, honestly, would be my I
Third?
think I'll put it in my top 3.
That's content, Albert. Let's wait.
Fine. Top 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think I agree. None. Bottom is the last one.
That's content.
Garbage.
Come on, let's wrap it up.
The Nun is garbage, ladies and gentlemen. It's garbage. But listen to our podcast for it, please.
Please.
Uh, the nunny Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode.
I'm sorry
Comment
for-
down below.
I'm sorry to all those listeners out there.
Comment down below your favorite scenes.
Yeah. And keep an eye out for our next episodes. And
Yeah.
please.
Wait. Before we end it,
Oh, the
Spook
spook
counting.
meter.
The
The
spook
spook meter, ladies and gentlemen. What the fuck?
Oh shit.
Okay.
Oh,
we
the-
didn't
the-
we didn't
you
we didn't
you
count
do
the last scene.
one.
We didn't do the
You
last
didn't
scene.
do the last scene.
was that a spook?
It
I mean-
is.
Tell me where it was spooky.
It was a lot
When
of
the
action.
nun
Fine,
appears.
Justify it.
It was a lot of action. The crooked man was spooky as fuck.
There you go. Okay.
When the fucking crooked man actually comes up, like from the little circle, he disappears.
he's,
I
like,
looked up and
smiling
he's
at Ed.
fucking grinning at your fucking face.
I will add that, but I also feel like
You don't think the
I
nun
know-
counts? Like at least
The-
maybe
the
point
nun-
75?
the nun at the end. I don't even want to put like 0.25, not even point.
It's because by this point we've seen the nun
seen her
creepy. I think this is us seeing her in action.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
I'm willing to add a spook for Ed's encounter with the crooked man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm willing to put one for Lorraine's encounter with
With the nun.
the nun, just because
What
the nun
about-
didn't do anything.
What
She
about Lorraine almost losing Ed?
Losing what?
The
losing-
love of her life? What the fuck do you mean, Carlos? I'm pretty
Come on.
spooked. I'm pretty
Come
spooked.
on.
Okay, I'm giving you guys half a spook for
Thank
that.
you.
I
okay?
appreciate
Thank you.
that. Appreciate
Fuck,
that.
whatever.
So we get one spook for the crooked
Crooked
man
man.
showing up, half a spook for.
I want you guys
Lorraine.
to guess how many we have now.
Okay, hold on.
I'm going to say... Because I just saw it, so I'm not going to say anything.
So it's just me now.
Yeah.
just
I'm gonna say 16.25.
No.
You're close. It's 17.5.
Yeah.
So I want to point out to our listeners before we end this: 2 hours and 8 minutes of a movie. And you've got 17.5 spooks. Anyone want to do the math on that? I kind of do.
Divided.
Yeah, what is it?
17.5. Or, yeah,
Well,
by
it's how
2
many-
hours. By 2 hours.
128 divided by 17, or is it the other way around?
It's 17 divided by 2. What was it? 128.5.
17.5 divided by 128. I'm bad at math. What is this?
We're
You're at 0.13.
0.13 spooks per minute.
okay.
Not even a spook every.
Maybe 0.14 if you round up.
Okay.
That's-
Let's round up. But I'm
I'm
That's
saying
not
that's
even a-
still not even a spook every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
And I mean, after we watched this, I pointed out to you guys, kind of dragged. I thought it kind of dragged, and I
It's 'cause-
counted that towards maybe there wasn't that many spooks.
It's 'cause
That's why I
it was-
started the counter.
It was.
Yeah.
I feel like this story was. It focused more on Ed and Lorraine's kind of story than on the actual spooky parts.
And do you think that's to the movie's credit or not?
That's just to
I
my
f-
enjoyment.
I feel like it was more storytelling
Well,
than being just
'cause
fucking scared. Period.
I understand what you mean, but I feel like there was still a story left on the table. Because
Definitely,
Maurice,
Maurice.
Bill,
Can we look him up? Not right now, but like look him up and
I
then
guess we
later
can,
on in
I'll look
another
it up.
podcast. Like,
Yeah,
oh, by
we'll
the
worry
way,
about it
Maurice
later.
from The Conjuring 2.
This is what he's doing now.
Yeah.
Where are they
Gross.
now?
This is what he did.
Okay, I guess. Sure. Because I was interested in his story. I would
Yeah.
have liked to have seen more of that. But whatever. They just kind of alluded to him having some paranormal activity. But
Basically.
nothing about it, I guess. So. What the fuck? My phone's crapping out. Okay. Getting haunted. Oh no. Okay,
Dios
we're
mío.
back.
Haunted phone.
Haunted phone, oh no. Oh, the cracks, all the crooked phone. Alright, so we've already said Conjuring 2, directed by James Wan.
Mm-hmm.
Produced by Peter Sanfran,
Okay.
Rob Kawan, and James won.
So thank you to those guys.
Screenplay is by Chad Haynes, Carrie W. Haynes, James Wan, and David Leslie Johnson. Again, the story was also by those people, except for David. David only did the screenplay, apparently.
Okay.
Music by a Joseph Bishara?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too impressed
I don't even
With the
remember there
music?
being music.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that guy.
No,
I
thank
mean-
you, Joseph.
But I
But
appreciate,
thanks to the other ones.
I appreciate the cinematography. So the cinematography that was from Don Burgess.
The motherfucker did a good job, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Burgess. You got
I feel
this.
bad. Thank you to the music person also.
Someone needs to get paid for it, I guess. So it might as well have been you.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, again, a runtime of 134 minutes, including the credits.
Okay.
A budget of 40 million. You guys
40 million.
40 million,
I feel like
okay.
that's kind of big.
guess how much it made. Go ahead, guys.
I'm gonna say 1.5 billion.
Billion?
Yes.
Jesus. Okay.
so
I'm
good,
gonna I'm
dude.
gonna say I'm gonna do times 10 and I'm gonna go 400 million.
You guys both overshot.
Ah,
The box office was 320 million.
I mean,
If you guys fucking highball it like that, then this number looks not so impressive. But come on, that's still fucking
yeah.
Yeah, that was
8 times what they put into it.
Yeah.
Shit, I was so close though, dude. It's
I,
just
I was
100
way
million,
off, but I just
dude.
really liked the movie. So
Produced by the New Line Cinema, the Saffron Company, and Atomic Monster Productions. Distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard
Powered
to
by
say?
Disney, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely powered by Disney. And produced by the actual people, Peter Sanfran, Rob Cohen, and I already did those. I
Yeah.
already did those.
yeah.
All right, cool, guys. So, 17 and a half spooks. And they got 300 some million. It's great.
It's a great movie.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for listening. If you've gone this far, please leave a like and a comment down below.
Check out our next episode on the Conjuring universe and catch you next time from the, far side of the moon.
Ain't nothing but a
Dun,
hound dog.
dun, 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 dun.
Hound dog.
Dun, 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 dun.